Hi, I'm Pooja Choksi. I'm a PhD candidate at the Department of Ecology, Evolution and Environmental Biology at the Columbia Graduate School of Arts and Sciences. I study forest regeneration in central India, specifically Madhya Pradesh, and like many others, I am stuck in the city because of this lockdown, and I just wanted to share a little bit about what I've been doing while I'm here in Mumbai. So this is where I should have been, in the Satpura Hills. I should have been here collecting something called bioacoustic data. I collect this kind of data using the equipment that is shown in this picture. Essentially, these are frequency recorders, which I leave out in the trees, and the data that I get looks something like this. They're audio files which I visualize using something called a spectrogram. This is a spectrogram of a 7-second clip. On the x-axis, you have time in seconds, and on the y-axis, you have frequency in thousands, so from 0 to 24,000 hertz. Most of the time, we end up not just listening to this data, we actually see this data and study it using both our senses. So you've got insects like the crickets that we can hear. You've got songbirds that, again, we can hear very clearly, but you've also got the bat calls for echolocation, which is way above the hearing range of humans. Just like a landscape is a collection of features, the soundscape is a collection of frequencies. You see everything that can vocalize on this graph. And using this data, we can make certain ecological inferences. For example, in my case, I understand how this certain statistical measures and calculations that you do correlate with the way a forest is growing. For example, what I'm showing you is simply biophony, which is all the sounds made by vocalizing fauna. But you have a second category of sounds, which is geophony, which is all the sounds made by an environment like rain or wind. And the third is anthrophony, which is sounds made by humans. And that is something, as I'm studying urban environments at the moment, I'm interested in. I'm in Mumbai, specifically in the south of Mumbai at Malabar Hill. The soundscape of my city under normal conditions be something like this. But now it's not, and it's deserted. Neighborhoods are absolutely quiet. As you can see in this picture, there's nobody on the street. And this is the perfect opportunity to be part of a project like Silent Cities. Silent Cities is a global research project that is spearheaded by Professor Samuel from France. As you can see, these are all the locations of where data is being gathered. So there are several other scientists like me currently probably stuck in a city who have left out recorders at their windowsills, at their balconies, wherever they can, and they're collecting data on the species that vocalize over 3 phases. So the first phase is during the lockdown, which is unprecedented in any country. There's a complete standstill, there's no economic activity happening. The second phase is as the lockdown is being relaxed and economic activity begins slowly. And the third phase is when normalcy returns. This is a great opportunity to understand the relationship between biophony, the sounds made by animals, and anthrophony, the sounds made by humans. How does it differ over these 3 phases of the lockdown? And what I want to do today is just show you the soundscape of my area. This is where I've left out my recorder. It's at my windowsill. It's facing my neighbors. These are the buildings to my right. To the left, as you can see, they're beautiful old trees. That's a tamarind tree up there. This is a mango tree. There's a peepal, a ficus species in the back. Some copper pods, a lot of ashoka trees. And of course, this is what affects the data that I'll be collecting. So this is the soundscape of my area, and I'm going to walk you through it. This constant knock, metallic knock in the back is actually a coppersmith, barbet, and those are the parakeets, followed by a black kite. There it was. And then once again, the rose-ringed parakeets kind of take over the sounds. This is a clip from 8:20 in the morning.
What's great is in the spectrogram, I can just select certain parts of it and filter out the rest, like I've done with this vocalization by an Asian koel. Here's another call by an Asian koel. I won't take you through the whole call, but it's a beautiful call that you'd usually hear early in the morning. Here's another really common bird, the common tailor bird that I heard at around noon. Lastly, I want to draw some attention to the insect diversity around us, which usually just gets ignored. As you can see, it's this yellow band across the entire spectrogram, and they call it a monotonous tone. Those are just some crickets, and as the temperature rises, we're going to hear the insects a lot more in the city. One of the messages that I've been getting a lot lately is, oh, wildlife is coming back to the cities. And while that is true for some cities where we see certain deer coming in because there's just no cars on the road, it's not true for everything. It's definitely not true for a lot of these common birds and insects that have adapted to urban environments. In fact, they thrive in urban environments. And so they're all around us. And I think what's finally happening is this lockdown is allowing us to stop and listen. And it's allowing us to, not drown out these vocalizations and actually sit and appreciate them.